not Chris?
This is our fence. So outside of that, and then our fence that comes along here. So just that little corner, and then those rice fields next to the pond up there. Great question. Yeah. Should have brought my pointer thingy. Okay. So in phase one, the Tiger Field House and Gymnasium, the Performing Arts Building, are those two that I pointed out that would still want to be built. Other structures that were completed, the Tiger Courts. So we now have indoor air conditioning is on its way, where it's being added as we move along. So but before the smoky and hot season, we would then be able to provide air conditioning. I've had questions from people saying, yeah, but we're not going to be able to use it during the day. No, the PE and athletic department are going to help give us an idea of when it's beneficial to use. I mean, it's going to be hot when we get into these afternoons. It's already hot in the afternoons, but the way the gym was done with 2.5 inches of sandwich foam and the insulation in the roof, if you've actually been out there, and currently there's just 2 fans running, PEA is still waiting to turn on the full power. We can't quite have all fans running. We're on a temporary thing, what do you call it, MDB, kind of a transformer that's small and can't handle all the power out there yet. We have a new one. It's all in. We're just waiting for PEA to kind of come and do the switch, and we hope that could be any day, any week. Then other infrastructures, the Fine Arts Building, formerly we call it the Stables. That was a building we actually moved, transported from World Club land, took it apart, stuck it in the ground over here on the side. It's been our facilities building for since we moved in. Also our band and choir had been housed in there. And this past year we built that other facilities building, moved things out, and created a performing arts meeting space, Art 1 and Art 2, so middle school and high school art, and then the band and choir are still out there. We kind of cleaned it up, got a new roof, insulation and different things, and it's actually chapels for high school and middle school have been meeting in there, and it's really actually been a very good space. That's helped to relieve a lot of the setup and takedown that we had to do in the cafeteria, especially in the short time frame from lunch to 200 plus students in chapel. So it's been a real relief and a blessing for us. A new elementary classroom on the second floor was added, and one other that isn't mentioned, but an office space in the ed support offices down below. So any questions about phase one? How am I doing, Darren? Still no?
Yeah, we're on now.
Okay. So real quick, staffing needs. This still is always a major thing for the school. Tuition is tied into discounts that you and your organization might get to help us get staff. Think about over 80, 90 work permit staff people that we employ and have. It's a huge undertaking. The way we stay affordable for our school is that all of our staff that come with work permits raise their own support. And so that's what helps keep the cost of the tuition down for the school. But it's quite an amazing task then to get 80 to 90 staff people here every year. Our average retention has actually jumped up a little bit from, I think, 5 years to about 8 years. And so that's been an improvement for us as we try to look for ways to maintain and keep staff here. Oh, so you can see assistant to the middle school principal, communications and marketing, deputy superintendent of academics, home and distance education coordinator. And then elementary, this is a huge, Carol Steedman, our principal, first time in her 13 years as principal to have fully staffed. So congratulations to our recruitment team, our HR, admissions, everybody, and our staff, our mission organizations that supplied the needs. That's amazing for us to have a full elementary, and we're so thankful. Middle school, no current positions other than the assistant to the principal. High school, no current positions open. We actually did need a physical science teacher, but we've made it work. So we're in the middle of it now with some of the North Star and online that we've had to do. Sometimes we've had to do this from time to time. It's less than ideal for us. We always want to provide somebody in the room, but then we'll be able to update these for the coming year. Ed support again. So when you see no current positions, that's amazing that our team has done so well to try to provide a robust program for your kids. Questions? All right. You guys are a great audience. No questions. Questions are coming later. Just so you can kind of see tie versus non-tie, the division of staff that we have, it's pretty close. We actually have a few more non-tie in our staffing positions than we do tie, but it's actually pretty close. You see the staff nationalities: Australia, Canada, China, Ecuador, France, Germany, India, Jamaica, South Africa, Uganda, United Kingdom. And then you'll see about 25 international flags out front. We actually have extra flagpole locations. Last year I think we had 26 nationalities of students that are here, families that are represented. So between 25 and 26 different nationalities. So it's definitely one of the things that continues to make us an international school is our international staff, our international students. Questions? Kind of a fun fact, we have teachers from 6 different continents. When my wife and I got here over 12 years ago, she started simply just pouring water in the lunchroom and eventually ended up in the nurse's office working there. And then that's how I kind of got introduced to the school by helping to coach and in some of the what's now called Anchor, at the time it was Timothy project. So involvement by me into the school, becoming more aware, and then until 8 years ago, when I was then asked to be the head of school, taking on leadership here. But so it doesn't mean you have to become the next head of school to pour water, but you could start there, right? And then work your way up. But recess, cafeteria, athletic coaching, library support, these are a few of those becoming a school aide. Helping substitute in the classroom. Yesterday, I subbed in a room or a session because our staff have to go to immigration office from time to time, or we do have sickness that's going around, or there's different things. And so we truly need people like you in our classrooms to help substitute. Financial donations, the campus projects, student scholarships, staff scholarships. So we not only do take the money in to help build the campus, but we, for staff who are short, mission agency might write us and say they're at 90%, 80%. Is there anything you can do to help? And we'll allow them to do a scholarship application. And as the funds are provided, that we actually have some money sitting in a pot, we're able to help them for a semester or a year. If it means helping them get in the classroom for us that year. And then throughout the year, with the help of actually Darren and the communications department, we do things to help our staff raise awareness and support ideas. Several, not only in staff but in the community, really know how to enlist and solicit partnership with their home country, home churches, family. So we really do try to come alongside them to do that. And then student scholarships. Again, same thing. We, from time to time, We have students who come our way, or parents get in a situation, you're on the field and suddenly a major donor drops and you're down to 60%, but your kid's already enrolled, and it's not the best thing for them to pick up and leave and just go back to your host country. So how can we help come alongside some of the families that might be struggling financially, and we actually have those student scholarships? Any questions related to any of this so far? So staying connected throughout our season, especially like when I said we moved out here, we began to look at those ways of collaborating, staying connected. Much of it was driven, especially, remember during COVID, any of you that were out here during that season, the government actually mandated things for us, that we report contact tracing, who's on and off the campus, different things. And so there were, if you remember, there were these Sunday meetings that the Ministry of Education would have, and then Sunday night they would roll out and say, hey, effective today, you can't have classes, or you got to do this. And so we tried to find ways to communicate clearly and quickly. Of conversations, but I mean, you're just not going to write me to talk about your child something in the 8th grade classroom. You start with the teacher, the principal, Joe Crane, our deputy superintendent, that really kind of handles academics. If it gets to my office, there's something that's missed, that's not happening, and we want to avoid that anyway. So clear communication, ways to do that. There's actually on our PSMO, our parent staff memorandum of understanding, a link in there that if you have a concern or complaint, you can hit that link, and then it goes to 2 people, and then one of them's me, so that, hey, I'm frustrated. I've tried the teacher, I've tried the principal, I've tried Mr. Crane, I am not getting the answers that I need. That's when that button is used, and you fill out the form, we set up an appointment, and we sit down. And then if you're still not satisfied, there is a mechanism to go to the school board, and then that can go to them. That point, it's a grievance. I mean, something has drastically happened. If we can't resolve it, lower level, then the board gets involved. They begin to speak into it. Okay? Any questions? Yes.
This is really helpful, to hear about those kind of communication
Right.
pieces. What about for our kids? So if our kid, it's like, hey, I want my son to be empowered to resolve situations, to ask for clarification. What would there be to help empower him and our students with those proper, that they know that they can go to the teacher for X, Y, or Z situation that's maybe it's with their peers.
Right.
In a curriculum related or anything else. So.
Yeah, great question. And I would say we do try to foster that openness, that if a student feels unsafe, uneasy, wants to report a concern, or I just need somebody to talk to. We've been very fortunate this last year. We actually have 3 school-wide counselors, kind of one designated elementary, middle school, high school, but generally they're there for any of them. And we've tried to make that very clear and known that our school-wide counselors are available at any time. Set up an appointment or tell your teacher, I need to talk to somebody, go in. We also have our student safety director, and she's also made herself available if there's been a concern for a student safety matter, something that saw power imbalance, or hey, that teacher's hand on that student just didn't look right. I'd like to bring that up. Principals, spiritual life office, advisory groups are another area where we have small, I work with some 8th grade guys, 10 of them in there, that we try to give them a safe person that maybe they feel like they could address and bring this to. So we've tried to give layers or multiple avenues, but if they're still not finding that and you're hearing that at the dinner table or something, please let us know. Hey, they don't feel empowered, they don't feel this person's approachable, they got blown off by it. We want to know. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Okay. Great. Any other? Thank you. I've been fighting off a cold, so I'm trying to take some time. So we did have questions from the community. Some of them are down here. Some might have come in just a little bit later. And then obviously if you've got questions along the way or something follow up, please raise your hand, let me know. But retention of our teaching staff, so much turnover. And then I'll get to the other part. So in 2017, we began to totally revamp the application process for teachers to streamline it. It's still a work in progress, but we tried to find ways to either fast track or get people information quicker. Another thing we did, we started taking what we call a snapshot in November, around November 1st. So we go and we have a conversation with our teachers. Hey, we're so glad you're here. We value you. Just wondering about your thoughts about next year. Do you plan to be here? Do you foresee? And so between November and January, they have a chance to say, yep, 100%, my family's in, mission organization, we're all good, support's good, no worries. Others, well, I'm still praying about it. I can let you know in January. Great, that's a button they can push as well. Others, I'm not really sure. I may be at 40%, 60%. There's 2 other ways they can do in there. And then we're able to come alongside them and have conversations and find out, is it something internally that we need to change? Is it not the right job fit or match or whatever? So when we talk about retention and keeping people, we want to have those conversations. Some mission organizations actually only allow a 2-year kind of stint or time period, and then they either have to go back and get more support or go career. We do try to ask every staff member to sign at least a 2-year contract, and then that helps us know, okay, they're good for 2 years. In November, we still have the conversation, you still good for next year? Yep, thumbs up, great. Or, my mission organization's restructuring, actually they're moving people out, or this personally has happened. So there obviously can be some changes. So one is by moving to November with the snapshot. The other is a 2-year contract. And then other factors that we try to do is our benefits. So we've beefed up our health plan. So our staff actually now can have here a health plan, because I know coming from America, a health plan is quite expensive. So the school does provide that. And then bonuses or benefits. So actually some cash when they arrive. Hey, help you to set up. Here's just a little bit of cash. And then increments of their stay. They also then get 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20, 25 years of things like that. A plane ticket home. If they're a first termer, they've done 2 years, and they want to sign on for another 2 years, we're going to buy your plane ticket so you can come back, to get them there and back. We've looked at other things like the scholarships or helping them pay off student loans, things that might be what is causing them to go home. So we've tried to a 2 years ago, I sent out a plea to the mission organization saying we are challenging things. So we were so thankful that our mission partnerships, mission organizations, really stepped up and said, hey, we're going to send you a teacher. We're going to send you 2 teachers. We want to partner with you in that. So again, grateful that the board, again, their linkage with them made that very clear and aware. We're here for you, but we got to have the staff. So was that anybody's question here? Does that answer? Okay. If something comes up, please revisit it. Beefing up the difficulty level of the Thai language classes, middle school, high school, and then the smoother transition. So our Thai language department, the Ministry of Education has regulations for the Thai national students. So there's a rigor and curriculum for them that is much more advanced than what the non-Thai families would undergo. Part of our experience here at the school is also as much a cultural introduction and endorsement as it is just we're going to advance in the language proficiency. So it's somewhat basic on some levels and lines of what we teach. We also every year, just because there's been a second grader going to third, going to fourth, going to fifth, and has had Thai 1, Thai 2, Thai 3. Then a new fourth grader comes in, they're starting at Thai 1. And so it's like, well, how does the teacher take fourth grade with some that are haven't been here at all, and then all of a sudden try to get to a higher level of Thai in that. So it continues to stay pretty basic, and we meet expectations from the Ministry of Education as they come through with accreditations. Our middle school and high school, we do try to advance those levels of Thai more. Our response in the past, hey, welcome, join us. Our response in the past has also been, if you feel your student is not getting the level of engagement or competency or challenge, feel free to have a conversation with the Thai teacher in that department, the principal, and ask and inquire. But there is a curriculum, there is a standard on what they're going to do quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, much like Spanish. And between middle school and high school. So one of the questions was, you go from elementary school, we had 3 recesses, to middle school where there's like no recess and kind of thing. But they actually do have 3 10-minute breaks, and they have a very long lunchtime. And during lunch, we actually try to make them stay in the lunchroom for at least 10 minutes to eat, actually consume the food your parents have bought for you to eat. But as soon as they can, they want to get outside. Luckily, when it's not raining, they're playing basketball, soccer, ping pong. There's also clubs at lunchtime, and then there's also the library is available at lunchtime. So we do feel like with the 3 10-minute breaks and the longer lunch and teachers' discretion, there are some outside meeting spaces that teachers can go sit under a tree or in this little area to foster, hey, let's get out of the classroom. Middle school has a lot of energy. High school, very similar. They also have breaks and the lunch, and so they get that time. Between 5th grade and 6th grade, there is a parent seminar, and the schedule would look like. So they do try to help onboard and bring families and students up to that. And then there's come tour the school. You could see I'm going to get a locker. What does PE look like? Where do I change? Those types of transitions. So the school does try to help foster opportunities for students to engage and see, and parents with those transitions. So again, any questions, and am I answering that question? Okay. Safety measures for students crossing the road at GIS and Graceland. So Graceland and GIS kind of share this main road. It's actually a servitude road for the other subdivisions that actually go off the back. And so we do work closely with Graceland to try and help make sure the kids are safe going back and forth. Now, as more and more students are moving into Graceland, bicycling, walking across, we're adding, you saw the, maybe you've seen the speed hump. It's a rather large speed hump that got built. But to slow down the traffic, they kind of missed their dead. Their security guards to kind of help watch and monitor. Our road, a couple of them have actually been officially trained, actually have a different color uniform, can enforce traffic things, because in the past when people were coming by and they saw, oh, it's just a security guard, they didn't really, oh, wait a minute, this guy's actually got the traffic uniform on, he's actually been trained. It has really helped cut down on that main road. So we are certainly open to partnering with Graceland to train their security guards. We're also looking at measures of trying to put more people at that crossing area as we realize there's more and more students coming across. A lot of it comes from you as parents, our Songtao drivers, driving with grace, going slow. We frequently get conversations from the community saying, that's school, people are flying by. And no doubt, there probably are, and we've probably seen local people in the community going by fast as well. But if we've got posted 40-kilometer speed limit signs. Get hurt. So I have a son who's driving. Community and the Songtao drivers as well. They get reminded. Any questions?
I like the idea of training the Muban guards. They're not out there probably a third of the time. They're late or slow, and it just gets pretty chaotic out there. And when they are out there, they're not really confident in what they're doing.
Right.
Like you see the GIS staff, they have blowing whistles when
Right.
where to go. And the Graceland Muban's like, okay, go.
Right.
And then people slam on the brakes. And
Right.
They just don't seem to know what they're
Yeah.
doing.
So I don't know if you were the one to make the comment or the question, but thank you for that, because as we think about awareness, we do watch and monitor the Songtaos when they load up and then when they leave. But you're right, it has been the Graceland, and so we're happy to invite them to our same security training, how to do the whistle, how to do. Also looking at the little stop signs, the stop and go, or the flag system, something like that. So awareness of these types of things to us help us go, yeah, how do we do better? So thanks for that.
Songtao drivers are generally pretty good. I think it's the parents who are in a hurry to get to work.
Yeah.
Usually the issue.
Yeah. But speed bumps maybe, and the big one. We'll slow it down. Yes?
So the speed bumps will be finished, because I've seen vehicles go around the speed bumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll be finished.
In November, October break, because they have to have time to cure, apparently. So when they pour it, then it needs, I don't know, 3 days or something. I don't know what it is. And so they'll pour those and then they'll cure for a while. But yeah, we're so grateful. We do have a very good, strong relationship with Graceland, and so grateful for their community. And so glad so many people are moving out there in the afternoons now. It is so fun to see community developing here outside in the campus and in ways as well. So, but let's keep us safe. So thanks for that. Questions about what makes GIS distinctive as a school. So like I said, we borrowed information from Faith Academy, from Morrison, DeLotte, from Black Forest, from what's the school? Rift Valley, other missionary kind of like-minded schools. And then our school board came together with the policies and foundations that they have together for us. So I would say some of the distinctives for us is that as we continue to employ only Christian teachers in the classroom, that our teachers are called staff and go through a pretty rigorous vetting of credentials, but to meet Ministry of Education standards and our accreditation standards, any lead teacher has to have the credentials and standards to be there. So they're Christian, coming from a mission organization or church sending organization. We have a memorandum of understanding with that mission or church sending organization about behavior, conduct, attendance, arbitration, expectations that go along there. Another couple of distinctives that I think for Grace, when the board set up the school, the spiritual emphasis was really important. And so our spiritual life department, what we do is we, with our integrated biblical worldview, so curriculum revampment, teachers trained and encouraged on how to tell the story, their story, while they're teaching math or history or science or something, and not just the religious studies classes. The emphasis for our home and distance education most other schools like ours don't touch that. They just don't. You're either in or you're not. And not that they don't like you, but we have found a pretty comfortable bridge that I think has worked well for us. So that's another distinctive. And then the final one, I think, is our educational support. We have allotted up to 12, 13 work permit positions. Footprint. I'm so impressed with our school board, with our staff for prayer. When I think about one of the strengths of a school, and when I see, witness, and our school board spend so much time in prayer, I feel like we really strive to live out a Christian witness and testimony. Now, granted, I lost my coaching privilege to myself when I was at a Christian school, and I began chasing the official down the field because I didn't agree with his call. And my Christian witness was not very good. When I was young, I didn't know any better, right? You know, kind of thing. And my athletic director confronted me, and I realized what was more important was my witness and testimony, not if we got the call right or won the game. So I spent the rest of the game sitting on the bus, watching as the assistant coach finished the game. I learned a valuable lesson. And I hope now I've learned what's important is my Christian witness and testimony. I hope we as a school continue to have a good Christian witness and testimony. Our sports leadership, our chapel core team, our student government officers, our staff, different ones, we try to find ways to be sure we are good citizens and neighbors in this community. learning from what we did at World Club Land about we became distasteful in that community to how do we be salt and light really here. So so thankful that we're not perfect, but we certainly strive to be distinctive in our Christian character of serving in our community, serving one another, our scripture verse of loving others well. Okay. The parent and guardians being involved, I think I had that on the other slide that we talked about being a school aide, being a substitute, donations, time up here. Back when my wife and I were in the U.S. for this 1 year, and we were trying to find a school for our kids, right? And we're asking questions in the community, and we came across this school, and they go, "Oh, that's a good school." And you go, it's a public school and stuff. And so we were like, okay, what makes it a good school? Is it the grades, the high grades that the kids get? Is it because it's clean? Is it? And it was the community support. It was a city school, and the city was behind it, meaning parents were very engaged. So when you sent homework home, odds are the homework's going to come back finished because a parent is there to help reinforce. Parents were home when kids came home. They wasn't latchkey kids that they just come home and there's no parent until 7 or 8 p.m. at night. They're getting their own dinner and things. So I would say one of the things that makes a good school is when we have you involved as parents. And that is, again, one of our strong values that we have, partnering with parents. Excited. This was a great... Did I answer questions? Sorry. Again, I'll sometimes... one of the things, we just got through with our accreditation cycle. So ACSI and WASC, Association of Christian Schools International, and Western Association of Colleges and Schools are the two outside accreditation agencies that come and look at our school. And then colleges in the US, Korea, the UK, Australia, others see those markers of accreditation and they go, hey, I think their kid is going to academically, socially, emotionally do well at our college, university. And so it's an endorsement that represents us well when we have those accreditations. We also have a Thai accreditation through OPEC called UNESCO. Same thing, college universities for students that want to go into the Thai college universities. One of the things that came out was they really liked our goals, our global objectives for all learners. As we talk about the head, the hands, and the heart, as we talk about being image bearers for God, as we talk about being God seekers, as we talk about being passionate learners, critical thinkers, global citizens. But one of the things in the review was they're like, you got this great banner, you've got this great slogan, you've got all this great stuff. It feels like the pieces of the puzzle are out there, but we're not completely sure to see how it really weaves in and out of everything and all. It's not really the heartbeat. It's there. You guys are doing it in pockets. This grade level or teacher or this school division might be doing this really well, but what does it look like cohesively? And so we're beginning to map out, actually, how do we infiltrate, weave together these global objectives for all learners in all that we do, so that we can look back. We're a school, we do grading, we have how have we been successful in this? And so that we can. So I'm excited to see us put forth kind of this initiative. I'm also been excited about the Belonging Initiative that we started a few years ago and we continue to have here. As educators, teachers, chaplains, others have continued to help our students and our staff lean in and try to, I don't know how this school functions, I'll be honest. We've got how many different denominations, how many different nationalities, how many different, school representations from mission organizations, and somehow over 600 students are here, over 350 families, and it's pretty peaceable. You know, people are kind of getting along. Somebody was telling me it's like in the old pioneer Western, and I chase rabbits, so I'm probably on one of those rabbit trails now. Pioneers, back in the old days, they got in these chuck wagons, right? And they headed across from the east to the west to claim land, find gold, do whatever, you know. And they were, you know, hey, I'm a self-made person, family, we're going to get it done. And you try to put all those people in one room and say, let's agree on something. And it's like, that can be really challenging. But yet we have all these mission families, missionaries who are these pioneers who say, I'm willing to go. I'm willing to answer the calling. But let's get along. Let's get together. And so this has been a beautiful story of what God has been able to do in this school and here in Chiang Mai, and the impact influence of Thailand and the 1040 window. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited about our continuing effort with the Best Christian Workplace Institute and the things that we want to do to continue to provide a vibrant workplace. I'm excited about, we've hired our new development, recruitment, and alumni director, and he's going to be able to help us with the one question that keeps coming up year to year, and one of the questions here, how do we really address hiring and retaining staff? So we've dedicated a person to kind of help us go through that, not just from this survey, but you know, from our own. And that again takes partnership. That takes cooperation, collaboration. But what we know is if we can get teachers to stay that third and fourth year, that's when they begin to soar. You know? And so I'm excited about those initiatives. I'm excited that we continue to get money and funds that come in to help us build and construct. The new additions that we got by enclosing the gym, by the fine arts building, giving those art students a space, the meeting space, the chapel. I'm excited for the future of those other two buildings, 3 buildings that we want to do, and then finally the aquatics facility. And anyway, all that's, you know, but we're just 25 years old. So I told you I went to Faith Academy. Faith Academy was 50 years old before it got its auditorium, and about 55 years old before it got its second soccer field. So when you look at, in 25 years, what God has done to provide just facility-wise for us, it's amazing. So what I'm excited about is how God's hand is so evident still in this school and is with us. Yeah. All right. Any other questions from you guys on the floor? Or maybe call-ins? I don't know.
Question.
Yes.
Related to Chinese.
Thank you.
I just heard a family meeting before that Chinese parents would gather together, ask about a Chinese school that Grace would do for them. That's all I know. So
Right.
I just thought I'll ask.
Thank you. It actually was on this sheet. I left it off there, but yeah. We at Grace and this current school board don't really have any plans or foresee future to start a Chinese school. I also had heard that there might be one starting, but it has not been necessarily affiliated with Grace. I know Across Town Unity School started the American Chinese School. Now it's not Christian necessarily. So they're, and then, but I heard similar that somebody might be trying to start one, but I don't really.
What I heard was, I don't know whether it's accurate.
Yeah.
That all the Chinese parents at Grace will gather together and.
Maybe I haven't.
Oh, okay. So I heard,
Yeah.
Grace is starting something. I'm like, how? How does? I mean, like, okay. So
Yeah.
you don't know anything about that.
I don't.
Well, then.
Best of luck to them, and I know it's a huge need, but yeah,
Okay.
I haven't.
What you don't know, then.
I haven't been privileged to that. Yeah, question or comment?
No, just a comment. Could you repeat the question for anybody who didn't hear it on the?
Thank you. The question was, they've heard that GIS was going to maybe look at starting a Chinese school. And to my knowledge, that is not the case. Grace is not looking to start a Chinese school. Yeah, great. Any other questions from the floor or follow-up?
Regarding retention,
Yeah.
I know in my organization, often retention is due to lack of fundraising.
Mm-hmm.
I know some organizations are really good about doing training. Do you offer that for staff that are maybe coming from a place that doesn't provide that? Is that one of the issues that causes people to go home frequently?
It can be, yeah. A few years ago, we had a representative from Teach Beyond, and she actually came and did an afternoon seminar. We've had at our professional development days, PD days, actually Darren and Stu Stewart, Jill and their wives, done a fabulous session on successful tools that have helped them. There's actually resources for our teachers that have a one-page piece of paper with a story on it. Say this, read this, and say kind of thing. Darren and the communications Nick is done videos for our staff members to help them promote and provide all the background role for here's actually students going in and out of the classrooms or this, or here's their worship time that they're doing, so that the no media kids are not included. And then it's very good script of what is there. We definitely look for ways and times and avenues to do that training and help put that in the hands of our staff.
Is that part of the onboarding process, or is that after they arrive?
It's usually after they arrive, and sometimes it's a need to know kind of thing. If, for example, we had one staff member who was very transparent, and actually his agency as well. He's at about 80%, kind of thing. So let's come alongside and help him with while you're here and in the classroom, because it can cause a lot of stress and anxiety to have to think about not only grading papers and lesson plans and engagement with the kids and all that stuff. Oh yeah, I'm eating noodles again, and I need to get 20% more. So we do kind of as need, but then we also do offer. I wouldn't say it's a part of our automatic box we check for onboarding, but that's a great.
I'd encourage you to get those resources out to people more sooner.
Thank you.
The recruitment process.
Thank you.
If they can get that out of the way before they arrive,
That's a great.
for retention.
That's a great.
For our organization, that's been
Yeah.
really helpful. We try to-
Thank you. Thank you for that. Our administrative assistant, Kun Wai, is here. She's taking notes, and so reflections, comments, and things. So that's one I'm sure she'll have down for me to follow up with. But thank you for that. Others? Yes.
Circling back to the Cultivate community.
Yeah.
Do you guys have specific initiatives that are going to deliver that or lead the students and the community to be cultivated in the Bible verse? One, mainly just at the dinner table, is there something that as a parent can reinforce or just ask about or use a common vocabulary or whatever it is, but just how can we come alongside that initiative to cultivate community?
Yeah, thank you. Wheels are turning in my head as you're talking. Somewhat of the initiative, and our senior leadership team is the one that has kind of come up with this. The trickle down would be with our staff. So I wouldn't say that we have totally introduced the plans, the methods, the KPIs for students or necessarily the community. But it's a great trigger question for me to think about. Yeah, if I want to encourage you guys to have that as a dinner conversation, what could we outflow? But within our senior leadership team, there are specific OKRs or KPIs, or objectives and key results and key performance indicators that we were successful in building a community when these types of things. Yeah, so she's taking notes for me and get that. But that's a great question. How would we foster and allow you guys at home to say, yeah, did you experience any of that? Thank you. Yeah.
Just for my understanding, so all the teaching staff from abroad are self-funded,
Correct.
and the TAG staff
Or salaried.
are salaried.
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
It's an incredible miracle. I mean, it's incredible.
It is amazing. You're right.
And it's not like student school. It's like 600. I can't-
Yeah.
I just.
It's amazing. Thank you for that reminder. So any other? I don't want to rush anybody. Yes, in the back.
You were talking about ways that we can engage as a family. And even though I work here, I have a family that can provide support to the school. So you mentioned the staff roar. I know that there's always things that are in there. Some of it is just for your information, so that you know what events are going on. But then there's also items that Van Den will put out there that says, hey, we actually need a family, a person that is organized or likes doing this certain thing to head up this event that's going on. I think specifically of the Christmas market.
Right, right.
What are those different things that are happening in the school that parents can be involved with or even lead? And that stuff happens inside the staff roar. So it's just a plug for that.
Yeah, great point that we strive for those two-way methods of communication. But that information is there. Also, our website has been totally revamped. Our communications director has done a super job with information on the website that's now accessible and available. The calendar, different things that are in there. Years ago, when I got here, I got to September, as the head of school, and by September, I noticed the staff was like burned out. And I was like, what is going on? And what had happened is, along the way, we had adopted any initiative and any event that a parent or staff person wanted to do. And so sometimes our staff were, in good gesture, teaching, and then lesson plans, grading papers, and then there was the anchor, and then there was advisory, and then I coached this, and then my mission organization is requiring this, and then this, and this list, and the staff were like maxed out. And so we began an initiative to try to help come alongside, especially like our first year, that they can't really just say, hey, I'll coach, unless they have approval from their department head or division leader or principal. So some of those things, this is another rabbit trail, by the way, kind of all over the place. But we tried to help our staff and become intentional. So similar in the community, we tried to find those community events that really move us more towards where we want to go with the community, and not just every event or every initiative. So sometimes parents have great ideas, like track and field day. I remember we used to have track and field day. It was a big deal, and everybody would come, and there was track and field, and all the teachers and the kids, and there were family groups, and there were different, and then and we felt like it is a great event, but at some point we have to say, okay, we're not going to do the track and field event this year. We'll do this one, instead of just adding and adding and adding. So there are some things that from time to time come along that if there isn't a key stakeholder, an owner of it, the school doesn't just, we got to do it. It's not one of the ones that we have to do. So, but some of the key things, like you mentioned, I think we're looking for somebody to head up the Christmas market. That would be disappointing, devastating, whatever, if we didn't have a Christmas market. But it's also okay if we don't have a Christmas market. I know I'll probably get lots of comments from people on that one. What? He's killing Christmas market. No, I'm looking forward to selling stuff at the Christmas market. But it may just be, if we don't have that type of partnership or support, we miss out on that event. But maybe there's something else that comes along. Certainly, go ahead, finish your thought, or did you have anything else?
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're talking about all these different ideas.
Yeah.
And people come to you, I'm sure, all the time.
Yeah.
I get this idea, and I think that those are great. I've never heard of this track and field day, but that sounds like a great idea. But I think that as families, we should come with these ideas and then follow it up with, and I want to help however I can.
Right.
Be able to say,
Yeah.
I want the school to succeed, and I want to be a part of what that success looks like.
Right.
By volunteering or heading this up, and then the school can reciprocate by, how can we get you resources, whatever that looks like, so that we can appropriately support
Right.
whatever, what the families in the school want to do. And I was just corrected, sorry, second thing, by the department that sends out the email, that's called the weekly roar.
Weekly roar.
Not the staff roar, sorry.
Thank you. Weekly roar. Thank you for that.
Sorry, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you send out an email, I don't know how often, from your office.
Monthly.
To the community. Is it
Mm-hmm.
monthly?
Mm-hmm. Superintendent update.
Does that pull in the, like, sharing the cultivating community with the parents that way?
Hey, that's a great idea.
Do you share it in there now? I don't know, because I.
You don't read it.
Because I read it.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know if you shared it there, but maybe you do.
There are different highlights and different things we focus on, whether it's some of the campus projects or whether it's our staffing needs. But things about like the Belonging Initiative or community could definitely be included in there. I don't know that I've made it part of our emphasis because it's somewhat internal. Again, the focus was staff trying to do that, not necessarily an initiative that we expected community to jump into. But I love the thoughts. Yes.
I really appreciate the Grace lunches.
Oh, good.
So thankful that
Mhm.
there's a lunch. Wondering how older students could communicate in constructive, respectful ways, suggestions.
Right.
If there's a way that they could have like a feedback form, or a way to occasionally, not often, pull students. I know that there's going to be lots of requests for pizza and tacos and burgers.
Right. Right.
And I'm not expecting that
Right.
kind of change, or any necessarily change, but allowing, like you said, a student to advocate,
Right.
communicate, make a polite suggestion.
Right. I do know that through their student government officers,
Okay.
often students have said to them, hey, the lines are too long in the lunchroom, and they brought it to our attention, and we've addressed some things like that. Whether or not they know that they could go to their student government officer or something to help push something forward, I'm not entirely sure, but I do think we try to advocate. From time to time, then there's also surveys that we'll send out. There's well-being surveys and different things that go both to organizations, parents, and students. And there's opportunities for comments in there. Yeah, the uniforms, the food, are a few of the ones that frequently get commented on or visited. And we certainly want to be open to hearing recommendations, suggestions. So when the students have great ideas, I think like the snack time got brought back at lunch because students began to advocate for that. So I'm sure parents really appreciate the 40 baht every lunch day for ice cream or boba tea or whatever that they're now selling, out there. But that was in response also to students. Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Just curious about. So the infrastructure being put in place, as you can see. I just wonder, does the school use debt to do these things, or actually you raise money, you have the money, then you do these things? I'm just curious.
Correct. So 7 years ago, the school did go into debt and took a loan from the banks. October, we paid off all that debt. We were debt-free last year.
Okay.
We did, instead of just pocketing the money, we then put that money into our infrastructure. We enclosed the covered courts, and we renovated the fine arts building. So those projects, instead of putting the money back into our pockets or our account, we allocated it towards those continued construction projects. But we had it internally, so we're no longer in debt, which is a beautiful place to be. The amount that we pay ourselves each month, like we were paying to the bank, that amount is not yet enough to really jump full into the big gym project or the other building construction of the performing arts. So those, we try to rely on donations. But internally, parking lot renovations, crosswalks, those types of replacing the roof, air conditioners go out, the capital fees and other things like that would go to replace those.
Big projects, you probably
Big projects,
wait till the money comes in.
donations, yeah. Yeah. So we do have on our website, very clear, you can go to see how to donate, and then the projects, how much things are along and been funded, and where they are in their funding. Yeah. Okay. Any?
There's a question that was from online
Okay.
audience that was through the chat.
Is it on my page or?
Your people chat.
Let me see here, and then it's already 3:15, so I know you guys. So question about senior carnival, talent show, dances, Tiger Week still exists. Yes, similar like with the senior carnival, it depends on the senior parents and the senior class. We are going to have it again this year. We did not have it last year. And then it will kind of depend on the junior parents and students this year if they see this as a value and want to do that. The Music Mania, I'm not sure if it was brought back last year. I think there was some sort of thing. Talent show hasn't been for a few years. That one, again, needed a driver for it and didn't happen. And then our Tiger Roar Week that we have is actually going on this week for high school. Elementary has their own designated Wednesdays. I think it's a Tiger Roar Week. And then middle school will have theirs as well. So, and then dances, yes, they are still there. So thanks for that question. Well, I do have 3:15. Parents are going to need to pick up their kids. I'm available also later. Thank you all for joining online. Sorry about the YouTube channel or whatever. That's why I'm not making millions going viral for being a YouTuber. But anyway, so glad you guys came. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Yeah. Thank you for coming.